Welcome to the show. Let me start off by saying I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This information is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. So on January 14th, Metamaterials announced an update on the special Series A Preferred Stock Dividend. At 5 in the morning, they announced this. I didn't find out about it till later because I was at work. But in either case, it got covered by the primary YouTubers, Terry Yonkers and also Sterling Stocks covered it. My favorite coverage was the one done by Roller Pigeons. She's got an excellent take on it. She goes over it in detail, and I like her take on it. She seems to be, in my opinion, she's an expert in the subject matter. So I think she knows what she's talking about. In either case, this is the update. As you can see, it came out on 5 a.m. And they first talked about the fact that on December 3rd, they mentioned that they have oil and gas assets which needed to be maintained. And the maintenance requires them to basically drill 4 wells. It's part of the continuous drilling clause. And that maintenance and the 4 wells were successfully drilled and completed on December 13th. So they're in compliance with their lease obligations, and the continuous drilling clause has been satisfied. Okay, so they still have 100% rights to their to this land and to this oil. So that's a good thing. They next talked about moving forward in the next steps of the spin-out process. Basically, they said that they need to do a formal transfer of the assets to Oilco, set up an Oilco capital structure which supports the spin-out, and make any necessary filings with the SEC. So that basically means that they've got Oilco as an entity. They transferred the Oro Grande oil and gas assets to it. There's a management team that needs to support and maintain those assets. And by support and maintain, that means that they need to make sure that their lease obligations are met, the continuous drilling clause, that kind of stuff. In addition, the management team is there to help with land sales. And they'll probably also be doing some exploration and development if possible, right? If they can increase the value of that land by increasing the amount of oil and gas that's that they know is there, then that would be good, right? They could get more, more money for the land. To do this, they need working capital, right? So Metamaterials has given them a loan. They've given them a bunch of money. That money goes to pay for the management team and the various activities of the management team. Now, interestingly enough, we know that Greg McCabe is a guarantor of those loans. Basically, he says he's going to make sure that the Oilco company will be able to pay back those loans to Metamaterials. That's a very bullish indicator right then and there, right? He's basically put his reputation and money on the line to make sure that any money that's spent by Oilco to develop those oil and gas assets, to make sure that the buyers can see it, to develop the land, that's going to be guaranteed by Greg McCabe. He's going to ensure that works. That's very, very bullish, by the way, just FYI. So anyway, once you have this entire entity as Oilco, you can now spin out or sell the entire entity. Their target is March 2022. And interestingly enough, this is talked about in the last paragraph over here. Meta currently plans to complete the spin out of Oilco as quickly as it can, with a target of March 2022. Subject to compliance with all legal requirements and process approvals by all involved parties. The company's objective has been and remains to ensure that the intrinsic value of these assets is maintained for the benefit of the Series A Preferred Stockholders of Meta, and that the assets are transferred as rapidly as possible to the Series A Preferred Stockholders. So basically, they're going to work as fast as they can to try to get this done, right? Compared to the December 3rd update, there's been some slight changes there, I've noticed. So on December 3rd, they mentioned that the company is targeting a spin-out or disposition of the oil and gas assets for early Q1 of 2022. So I take that to mean January. Q1 is basically January, February, March. Early Q1 would be January, right? So by the January 14th update, they said, which is mid-January, by the way, they said they plan to complete the spin-out of Oilco as quickly as it can, with the target of March 2022. So I think they're basically just giving themselves some extra headroom here, or extra leeway, right? They don't want to be too eager to sell stuff to someone at too low of a price. So it's standard negotiation tactics to give yourself enough room to be able to sell, right? You don't want to be, saying, "Hey, there's a fire sale here. We have to sell no matter what." No, they'll basically just give themselves some room, right? So the question comes out: is this going to be a spin out, a dividend, or both? My guess is that they may just spin out Oilco as a private company, right? Because a private company can't be shorted. That means also that the shares will probably be recalled, and if the shares are recalled, that means the shorts have to close their positions, which means they have to buy back shares. And if they don't have those shares, or if those shares are not available, the price of those shares can go up substantially. Right? Oilco, can still sell off their oil and gas assets. They can still issue an excellent dividend, and if they do that, or once they do that, then the shorts have to pay that dividend or close their positions. Right? They basically are between a rock and a hard place. It looks like it's not as though they've got a lot of choices here. It's not really a smart move to short Meta, I think. In either case, if we look at the price of oil, we can see that it's been going up. And as of the December 3rd announcement, oil was around $66 a barrel. It had plummeted recently from about 83. But if we look at it now, it's around $83 a barrel. So it's gone up. But it's not just 83. It didn't just reach where it was before. It went up there pretty quickly, and it looks like it's on an upward trajectory. It doesn't look like it's done at 83. And if you note, there was some news announcements by Bank of America around November 1, where they said they expect oil prices to head towards $120 by the end of June. And JP Morgan was also saying that they saw oil prices hitting 125 in 2022 and 150 in 2023. So this could be headed up for quite some time. So again, no rush to sell the oil because oil prices are heading upwards. My take on it is that this particular run in oil is probably not done yet. It looks to be still going, but you can never tell. The other thing I'd like to note is that in recent history, we found out about this company called NextBridge, which seems to be doing stuff in the Oro Grande project. They could be involved in this one way or another. They could be the management company. We don't know. Certainly, it seems that they are highly involved in what's going on. So keep that in mind. Another thing to note is that just before this announcement, Metamaterials was at CES, and Sterling Stocks did an interview with them. That's an excellent interview, by the way. I highly recommend you check it out. It's about an hour long or so, but you can really tell what's going on. I mean, you can hear you can hear for yourself what George Palikaros is saying, but not only that, you can read his body language. You can hear the intonations of his voice. It sounds, I mean, if I were to hear that, I would think this is a guy who's honest, capable, and being as open as possible with his shareholders. Okay, but in either case, along the way, around 1672 seconds, a link will be provided. George made a comment that I found really interesting. He said, "I just want to make a comment about the dividend. You said we don't care about the dividend." And he's had multiple discussions with both the former chairman and former CEO of Torchlight. That means Greg McCabe and John Berta. And he says, "We do care. We want to make sure that the maximum value is captured for every single shareholder of the dividend. The biggest shareholder of Torchlight, Greg McCabe, has till this day not sold a single MMAT share." Okay, that's a very positive endorsement by Greg McCabe of Metamaterials, but that's also a very positive endorsement of Greg McCabe by George Palikaros. Greg McCabe is the guy who basically is a chairman of the board of Torchlight. He's a large shareholder of Metamaterials. He's also a large shareholder of the MMTLP shares. Right, it's in his best interest to do well. So Greg McCabe is very confident about what he thinks the value of the Oro Grande project is, and George is fully supporting Greg McCabe and about what the value of that of that land is, and by land we mean oil. So interestingly enough, George made another tweet on this was on January 14th, I believe, and he made this comment on stocktwits.com. Again, a link will be provided, and he's got a video of a gorilla, which is also an ape, I guess, playing drums to Phil Collins' "In the Air Tonight" song. And if you listen to the song, you'll know that it's basically, the lyrics of the song go something like, "I've been waiting for this moment all my life. Oh Lord, oh Lord." So I would not attempt to sing. You would not want to hear me sing. Anyway, so I, take on it what you will, but looks like George Palikaros is in anticipation of what's going to happen. To me, gorillas represent apes, and the apes, of course, represent the Wall Street bets apes, or the retail investors who like to call themselves apes. So it could be quite interesting to see what's going to happen next. I'm very positive about this. And anyway, so that's my update on the special Series A preferred stock dividend. Check out the other links. Check out the other videos. Again, I like Roller Pigeon's video the best. Yeah, and that's what I take. That's what I think is going to happen. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, and this information is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. Goodbye.